I want to welcome you to the first session of English for Business, in this case for basic level. And today's session is setting my import business. Remember, this is part of Unit 1, that is English. I'm your teacher, Liliana Quipuzco. So let's start with the first consideration. First, you must speak English during the entire conference. Second, you can ask questions during the course of the conference. Third, I would appreciate if you share anecdotes, experiences, or maybe any kind of problems that are related to the subject in order to help you. And finally, And finally, at the end of each session, we will have an exam of 10 multiple choice questions with 4 alternatives. Um, this exam, this is an exam, and also it's going to let us know how today's session was. So I'm going to give you the link at the end. Okay? So we're saying today we're going to see how to set my import business. So first of all, what is import? According to Cambridge Dictionary and Oxford Dictionary, to import is to bring or to buy, in this case to bring in or to buy clothes from another country. According to Oxford Dictionary, on the other hand, to import is to bring goods or services into a country from abroad for sale. In this case, in both options, we can see that to import is to buy or to bring from another country products or services into Peru for sale. Now, how do I set my import business? In this case, remember that if we're going to set a business, we have to go to SUNAT, that it is the Superintendencia de Administración Tributaria y Aduanas. In this case, to set my company, I can be a natural person, a regular person, or I can be a legal entity. In this case, a legal entity will be a company itself. But also I can have a company as a person, as a natural person. So I have two options. If I just want to do it by myself, or if I want to set a company with other people, or just set a legal entity, being myself the only owner. I have many options. Now, remember that there are some regimen. In this case, we have the new regimen, that it is in Spanish. This will be, I'm going to say to you this in Spanish because this is the name here in Peru, right? So it will be Nuevo Régimen Único Simplificado, also known as NRUS. Then we have the Régimen Especial de Impuesto a la Renta. Also we have Régimen Límite Tributario. And finally we have Régimen General. In this case, remember, if we are going to set an import business, we can only choose these options. Régimen Especial de Impuesto a la Renta, or Régimen Límite Tributario, or Régimen General. Why not? We cannot choose Nuevo Régimen Único Simplificado? Because this kind of regimen has an exception, and the exception is that we are not allowed to import or export. So as importers, we are not allowed to use this rate. Okay, so remember that. If you go to SUNAT, in this case, you can go to any SUNAT office, they are going to tell you the same. But now that you know in advance, it is better because if you go and maybe the person in SUNAT is not specialized, or maybe it is new, or maybe doesn't know too much about this kind of details, you will be able to know that you cannot use the English. Okay, always remember, because for example, I had a client that wanted to import as a natural person, and he went to SUNAT and this person said, I want to import products in order to sell here in Peru. And the Sunnah the lady that helped her, she opened for this person a natural person group tax ID with the end rules. This person had to wait like around 1 week in order to change from end rules to régimen especial de impuesto a la renta, that was the one that allowed her to import. So always be careful. Now we're going to go to the webpage of the government of Peru in order to check the characteristics of the tax rate. Okay, so it's going to be very, very fast, and I'm going to share to you my screen again. So now, give me a second. Okay, here we are. Okay, so this is the main web page, the main screen for the government of Peru. It is www.gov.pe.pe. In this case, we're going to see this, and we're going to go to Búsqueda por categorías. In this case, I'm going to say again in Spanish because the web page is in Spanish because it is from Peru. Okay, now we're going to go to Comercio, Negocios y Emprendimiento, and we're going to click it. We're going to wait, and we're going to put in here regímenes tributarios, and we're going to click it. Now that we have clicked it, we can check all the details for the tax regimens. In this case, we say that we can see that we can be a natural person or a legal entity, and in here, if we scroll down, we're going to see the characteristics. In this case, we can see that, remember that the end rules is not allowed. This one is not for income, so we cannot look at this one. We're going to see from régimen especial a la renta to régimen general. So we can see that if we use régimen especial, régimen límite, or régimen general, we are allowed to be a natural person and we are allowed to be a legal entity. Now, if you scroll down a little more, you're going to see that there are some limitations to incomes, to sales, to buys, to purchases in this case. So, depending of how it's going to be our company, we are going to be able to choose which regimen we will be, okay? Finally, remember that in here, you can check which kind of documents you can emit. In this case, you can make a factura, a letter, or maybe a card. Okay? This will be the main web page from the government of Peru, so you can check the different characteristics of the tax rate. Okay? So now we're going to go back to our session. Okay, here we are. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to see the product. So after I set my import business, after I set my import in Sunan, and now I have my tax ID or book in Spanish, now I can choose my product. In this case, about my product, I have to check which product I want to use, or in this case, I want to sell. Do I want to sell maybe product to be eaten, or maybe cosmetics, or maybe some keychains, or maybe some toys? I have to decide which product I want to sell. After I decide which product, I have to check if the product is restricted or prohibited. For example, for restrictions, I could say that, for example, if I want to import cosmetics, makeup, the makeup has some restrictions because it is a product that is going to go to people's faces, right? So we have to be careful with that, and we have to check it with the entity of the government that is in charge of emitting in this case, the permissions. After that, I could say to you that the most common Documents, in this case, restrictions will be also for cell phones. In this case, the Ministry of Transport and Communications is the one that is in charge of giving us the permissions for importing, in this case, to bring in to prove the cell phones. In this case, this is if we're going to sell. If we are going to buy one or two for our own use, we do not need to do this info. I'm sorry, we do not need to contact the ministry in order to have this permission. But if we're going to sell and we're going to bring in, we're going to import more units of these cell phones, we will have to do this. On the other hand, if you are talking about prohibited products, we will be talking about some chemicals, and also we can talk about some medicine. So we have to be very careful, and after I choose which product I'm going to import, I have to check if it is restricted or prohibited. Once that I know if it is restricted or prohibited, or it doesn't need any permissions, I can check how many will I want. In this case, it means that you already know, have already done your market search, your market investigation, and you know how many you will be able to sell. Maybe if I'm going to use buy, let's say 10 units or 100 units, or maybe I know that it's going to be a bit more, maybe I could import one from the country. Okay? After I know how much I'm going to buy, I can check if I want to ask for samples. In this case, a sample if I'm going to bring, let's say, one container or 100 units of, let's say, could be maybe an uh, electronic device, I can ask for samples in order to test them before I buy the 100 units of the container. In this case, if I want to ask for samples, I should talk to my supplier and let him know that I want samples and how many samples that I want. Maybe if there are some different models, I can ask for for one of each model, or maybe if there's colors, I can ask for one of each color. So it will depend on me and what I need. Okay. Remember to always ask, in this case, if the sample is for free or if we are going to be charged for it. That is very important. If we're going to be charged, not only for the sample, but also for the ship. In this case, if I'm going to be charged for it, I should be able to have the money to pay for it. If not, if it's going to be for free, I just should relax and wait for my product, in this case, for the sample to get to. After this, I have to know how often will I buy. In this case, am I going to buy once a year, twice a year, or maybe once a month? I don't know, maybe I have to check that. If I'm going to bring products that are easily sell, maybe I will have to buy once a month or maybe once every 2 or 3 months. On the other hand, if I'm going to buy products that are especially for one kind of, for example, let's say for only summertime, in that case, maybe I will only buy once a year. For example, let's say if I'm going to sell swimsuits, I just gonna sell swimsuits during the summertime and a little earlier before summertime, right? So I'm just going to import the swimsuits once a year. In this case, because I'm going to bring them before the summer starts. Okay, so I have to check that to also let my supplier know. So in this case, maybe I will be able to get a better price. Now we're going to check very quickly some tools in order to find products and to find some information. In this case, it is trademark and Atlas Media. I'm going to share with you again my screen. Here. Yes, here. Okay, so we're going to go to trademark. And we can check in here. I'm gonna, on the material, you're going to be able to see that directly. So in this case, this is the main page, web page of trademark. In this case, I'm going to search for imports. So I'm going to put in here, I'm going to click on the import button. After that, I'm going to put the code of the code. So I can put in, let me change it to English. Okay, perfect. So now I have in here imports, and now I'm going to choose the code. In this case, I could choose for apparel. In this case, clothes. Okay, so here, articles of apparel, and clothing accessories. So I'm going to check for H is code 61. Okay, and now I'm going to choose the region. Maybe if I want to import from China, I could put China in here. If in this case I want to check the imports from the entire world without knowing a specific country, maybe I want to check from scratch which country it would be more interested to import from, I just could leave it in here, leave it in blank, and I can put trade indicators. So in here, I could check that in the world, the United States of America is the main importer of apparel. Okay, so that is good to know. Also, I could check here Peru, let's say, and I'm going to see that the main supplying market for the clothes imported by Peru, it is China. So in the world, the main supplying market is China, and it is also for Peru. So maybe having this information, I will be able to see, or maybe to get a hint that maybe a good market to buy from is China. Okay. Now we're going to see the other tool, that is Atlas Media. In this case, I'm going to leave you also the link on the material. And this is the Atlas Media webpage. This webpage is it has some interactive details, so maybe depending on how fast the computer is, it could take a little longer. So in here, I could just check the country. In this case, I will put Peru and check it there. And I have to wait. Like I told you, this is a very interactive webpage, so sometimes it takes a little. In here, the webpage is going to give you all the main information about Peru. You can check it later if you want to. And now I'm going to see here exports of Peru, but what I'm really interested in is imports, right? So I'm going to wait. Now remember that this information is from 2017. It takes a little longer to update the information, especially because we're talking about a free web page. That's why sometimes it takes a little. It also happens with trademark. Sometimes it doesn't have the complete information or updating information. If, in the other hand, if you are able to go into a paid web page or paid tool, for searching, like data trade, or maybe some transaction, or very trade, you will be able to find more updated information, not only from 2018, but also from January 2019. Okay, so now here we can see that the most important area of imports in Peru, it is the sky blue one, so it's machines. After machines, we import mineral products. And after that, we only import, in this case, uh, transportation products like cars, delivery trucks. So also knowing this, we can check in here which is the products. For example, we can say that broadcasting equipment is the most important for machines. So from every product we import into 2017, the most important was broadcasting equipment. After that, we have computer and video displayers. On the other, on another aspects in mineral products, we have that we imported refined petroleum, crude petroleum, and others. Also, we imported a lot of cars, delivery trucks, buses, tractors, and vehicle parts. And we can see this clearly because if we see on the streets, we see a lot of cars, a lot of new cars, a lot of delivery trucks. So we can not only see this on the streets in real life, but we can check it, we can prove in here in data that that is what is happening. Also, we can check some chemicals. In this case, we can see that packaged medicaments, or in this case, medicine is one of the most important processes. So if I want to know, maybe I'm going to import, let's say, some rice, I can check it in here if it is an important product that we are imported, or if I'm going to be a new importer. In this case, in here, I can check price, and I have the input value and the percentage. So I will be able to know that I will have a lot of competitors. Okay, so this is one of the a really nice free tool to use, but remember that if you are able to check another one, it is okay, and if you are able to check a paid tool, it would be better. Now, going back to our class, we can also see that after setting my company, having which product, deciding which product I'm going to use, I can check for a supplier. In this case, there are three kinds of suppliers that I can choose from. I can choose from a new supplier that I'm going to look from scratch, from a known supplier that I already work with, or a recommended supplier that maybe a friend, a family, or someone, an acquaintance recommended to me. Okay, remember that these three are okay to use, but always do a comparison. Not only choose, not don't choose from the first supplier you get, but try to make a comparison in prices, delivery times, personalization, the kind of products that you want, the quality. When you have maybe like from 3 to 6 supplier options or potential suppliers, you can choose from them, so you can have a better price or maybe a better characteristic that you're looking for. Also, remember that I recommend you to not buy lists of suppliers on the internet or just use recommended ones always without doing, like I told you, a research or just asking for something. Why? Because, like I told you, this is kind of funny maybe. To choose a supplier is like it's like to choose a boyfriend or a girlfriend. In this case, I cannot choose someone because some other person already chose it. I have to choose one that is going to meet all my needs, that is going to satisfy all my needs, what I want. So if I want specific details for something for my code, I have to look for a specific supplier. So I have to check it for myself. Okay? Remember always that. Always remember that. Also, after knowing this kind of suppliers, you can also know that we can we can have a supplier, a factory. It means a company that is producing what we're going to sell. We can also have an authorized dealer. Maybe if the factory is not allowed to sell to us the product, we can go to an authorized dealer. Remember always to ask for an authorized dealer abroad because usually when we buy from an authorized dealer here in Peru, they tend to have a little a higher price, to have a higher price. So if we are able not only to get the authorized dealer through, but also an authorized dealer abroad in another country, we can check prices, and if the price abroad is better for us, we can go and select to work with the authorized dealer abroad. And also we can choose to use e-commerce. It is okay to use e-commerce. In this case, we are talking about buying on AliExpress, Alibaba, Amazon, and eBay. Remember that I would encourage you to maybe not buy on eBay. It is not one of my favorite, let's say, web pages to buy from, because they don't offer a nice, how to say, a nice customer service to us. So I would recommend you to buy from AliExpress or Alibaba. In this case, AliExpress if you are going to buy just for units, and Alibaba is if you are going to buy in bulk. In this case, in lots. And finally, Amazon is also to buy. Let me check. Also, give me one second. Okay, not here. And also remember that. Okay. And also remember that if we are going to buy from these web pages from Amazon, uh, we will have to have our credit card and also or our debit card. In this case, if we're going to buy on AliExpress and Alibaba, there's an option of Alipay that it is completely secure. And if we're going to buy via Amazon, we can use PayPal, that it is very secure too. Okay, so now we're going to very quickly see these web pages. I'm going to share to you. Give me a second. Okay. So now we are on Amazon web page. This is the main Amazon web page. In this case, we will be able to find our code. So let's say keychain. And we can just put the name of the code in here and just ask. And just click on search. After that, we are going to be able, you can check for more information, in this case for specific details on your virtual classroom, but mainly we're going to choose the product and we're going to check the rating stars in this case. Finally, I could say to you that if you are going to sign in order to buy, you have to sign in. If you don't have an account, you can put in here, start here, and you can create an account. You can put your number, your name, your email. You can create a password, enter a password, and you can create your Amazon account. After this, you will be asked to put your personal information, your complete name, and also your address. In this case, remember to put your complete address and put your zip code. In order to put your zip code, you can go into the Código Postal web page in here. You click here. And you're going to wait until it finishes loading. Okay, so now we are able to look for our zip code. In this case, it will be Lima, Lima, Lima. And as the place, we're going to choose for the Elliot organization. So in this case, let's imagine that we live in here, where the mouse is pointing. So our zip code would be 15081. So this will be our zip code to not only use on Amazon, but also to use it on AliExpress or Alibaba. Finally, we're going to quickly see aliexpress.com. And this is the main page of AliExpress. Remember that if you already have an account, you can just put sign in. If not, you can put join, and you can join for free. In this case, it is also it is the same as in Amazon. You're going to put your email address, first name, your last name. Remember in here to put your right names. In this case, your real name and your real last name, because that information is the one that is going to be on your on the documents of your email. So you have to put in here the correct names, your real names, okay? After that, you can create your password, confirm your password. You're going to enter the code that is below here, and you're going to check in create account. After this, AliExpress is going to ask you for the information that I have already told you, your address mainly, and you will put your address and also your zip code. We already saw how to check for our zip code. And finally, when you're, this is the way that you will be able to check for a product. Let's say that we are going to check for clothes. So let's say we're going to find for dresses, in this case for women, and we're going to look for summer, and we want the last trend, so we can put 2019. So these are code, uh, the code names, the code words that we're going to check for in our search. So we can sort by different, we can sort by best match, we can sort by orders, we can sort by the newest products, or we can sort by price. In this case, we can sort by price, so we can have the most cheaper prices. So these are the cheaper prices. You can see some different summer dresses, and you can see here that this dress, for example, have 20 orders. This dress has 9 orders. This dress, for example, has 20 orders but no stars. So none of the 20 people that order it gave it a rating. On the other hand, this has 9 orders but 2 people rated. So if we're going to buy from a company, in this case from a company from AliExpress, we have to not only check that the product has a good price, but also to check how many people bought from them and also how many stars they gave them. Okay. For example, let's check this one, for example. You can see that 62 people ordered this dress, but only 13 rated, and they gave it a 3.5 out of 3.5 out of 5. So maybe it is not a good dress. So we're going to check it. It is a sequence dress with some. So here we have the information of the product. We can check the size, the color, the price. We can check which country we want. In this case, we can put it here blue. We can ship it from China or the United States. We can put the quantity. And after you check this information, you can buy now and you can put your credit card information buy. But before doing that, we're going to check in here the feedback. So this is where all the people that have already voted wrote a review. So one person from France says that the dress is very transparent and one should put something below. So they say that this dress is very transparent. So if you put it in, people can see through it. So maybe that's not a good detail in this product. Also, another person from Germany says that it is too small and it is very thin. Another person says that it is beautiful but it is very clear. And this one is someone that is writing in another language, so we're not going to be able to see it. But you can see here little pictures. So you can click it there and you can see the picture. You can see how transparent it is, right? You can see the fingers of this person, so maybe it's not a good product, but In here you can see another picture. Look how we can see through it. We can see the dog, we can see the wolf. So looking, okay. So looking in here, it looks like a very nice product, very beautiful product. But once we go to the feedback, we can check that the quality is not the best. So maybe this product is not for us. We just click in here and we go back to our main search and we search for another one that fits our needs. Okay, so that is the way of very quickly see how to choose a product from Amazon. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, from AliExpress. So now, finally, we're going to check the shipping and logistical services. In this case, remember that you can import by sea, by air, or by road. But before choosing which one you're going to before choosing one, you have to check the characteristics of your products. Maybe if your product is dangerous, you will not be able to send it by sea or by air. You will only have the option to send it by road. But what happens if you are importing from China? There's no way that you can import by road from China to Peru, right? So maybe that product would not be good to you to import. Also, you have to check prices. If you are going to import very small quantities, it is the best to use an air import. If you are going to buy large quantities, it would be cheaper to import by sea. And finally, you have to check the availability. Not only the availability of the transport indeed, but also the availability of your supplier. If your supplier is not available, is not able to ship products by air and they only ship by sea, you have to check it if you would like to import by sea or you will need to import by air. On the other hand, in this case, if you only want by air and he is not able to ship by air, you will have to look for another supplier. And finally, the logistic operators. In this case, you can use a regular logistic operator, uh, maybe a broker, a freight forwarder, or maybe custom agency, or maybe you can choose from a company that has an integral service that they can give you both services, or also you can go with surplus. In this case, if you work with surplus, you will be using import tracking, that is something that we're going to check the order, or you can use a courier. Remember that if you're going to import very, very small quantities, you can use surplus, but surplus takes longer. And if you're going to import small quantities, you can also use a courier. But remember that a courier always charges more. Okay, so maybe if you import, let's say, 10 units of keychains, it would be maybe if you're buying from Amazon and if you're importing via surplus, it could maybe cost you $3, $4, but it is going to take like 60 to 90 days. On the other hand, you can maybe ask for a courier and it would only take maybe 15 days, but it is going to cost you around $30 or $40. So the price, it is there's a wide space between surplus and courier, but the benefit is the time. Remember that before using logistical service, you have to check the quantity, how many products you are importing. You have to check the prices, how much is if you are able to pay for it, and you have to check the availability. If your supplier has the availability of working with the one that you chose. And finally, you have to check each import case. If you are going to import keychains, you will be you will be doing all of these steps for your keychains. But maybe in 2 months you're going to import, let's say, erasers. You will not have to use the same supplier or the same logistical service or use the same shipping. You will have to do again all the process, all the steps in order to choose the best for this import case. Even if the first time you ordered keychains and now 2 months after you're going to import keychains, you have to do it again because it means that you will be getting the best of the services for your product, or in this case, your import. Finally, I'm going to leave you the references in here so you can check them later. And I'm going to give you on the chat the link for the survey. Give me 1 second. I'm going to leave you on the chat the link for so I'm giving you the link for the survey and also the exam. In this case, we will be really thankful if you can share your experience and also to let us know how the session was. Okay. So finally, I want to thank you for your attention. Remember that today we saw how to set an import business. Remember that we saw how to choose my product, what do I have to do when I go to Sunat to check regimen, to be maybe a legal entity or a natural person, how to choose the product, how to choose the supplier, how to choose the shipping, the way of the mode of transport, and finally the logistical services. Again, again, I have to tell you, to point to you, that you have to, every time you're going to do an import, you have to do all the process, all the steps. This is very important for you in order to get the best prices, the best product, the best quality, the best lead time, and the best supplier, so you don't have any kind of troubles or any kind of problems. Remember that any kind of problems on import cases means money, so you will have to be careful with this. Okay, so finally, I want to thank you again for your attention. This was session 1, setting my import business, and I hope to see you next week. Okay, this was your teacher Liliana Quipuzco, and have a nice week. Thank you. Bye bye.